Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, we're going to be reacting to Steven Wilson's newly released concept album called The Overview. We're going to react to the entirety of the first disc, which includes Objects Outlive Us as well as the self-titled track, The Overview. And it's Steven Wilson, so I know we're going to be in for it. The songs are, 23 minutes and 18 minutes respectively, so we're in it for the long haul. I encourage you all to grab your drinks, your snacks, get comfy, and let's enjoy this all together because, Steven puts us through it. He wears so many hats: guitarist, singer, writer, poet, composer, arranger, artist. I mean, the list goes on and on. So for him to produce a concept album, I'll do my best. I'll try to articulate my thoughts to the best of my ability, not interject too much, and even still, I'm definitely going to miss some of the things that he's going to put in this one. So I'm excited to check this out. Also a little bit nervous, but hey, we're here to enjoy nonetheless. Before jumping into it, however, a massive thank you goes to David the Wholesome, whose generous support made this reaction possible. Thank you so much, David. But now it's time. Let's jump in, starting with Objects Outlive Us. Oh, Jesus. It's already ethereal. I incline myself to space.
There was no ghost on the moor, no open window,
Oh,
no monkey's paw,
no monkey's paw?
and there in the mist, you ask me,
God, these huge chords.
Did you forget I exist?
Are these chapters of these songs? Of this song?
she played too hard to get.
Who is he speaking with? Is it God? It sounded very celestial. Did you forget I exist? Whoa. Dude, I have chills. That is a Steven Wilson progression. Wow, what is this set? Okay, I think it's 3/4, but the polyrhythms here are already. No, we gotta go back even further. I don't even. Oh.
The butcher of the modern age is barely paid minimum wage to dole out truth and healthy karma. The same he gave to our forefathers when
We are in for it.
to touch the sky. Now we have no need to try the blood photos of ghosts of men. Such permanence we don't comprehend. Slaughter the sacred cow to stuff our stupid mouths, already fit to burst.
this is like all of the different sins that humanity collectively we are committing. We're not paying the Buddha enough. We're not valuing the things that matter. We kill for our own benefit rather than the collective. We're greedy. We dance in our own filth. Or I guess wallow in our own filth. And for what? Just to improve our hedonism? Improve our momentary circumstances instead of improving the collective? And man, these huge choirs here underneath. This is definitely out there. Seems like each of these are different chapters. So the monkey paw, the Buddha of the modern age, neglected. Dude, it's like a diminished movement, but it feels major somehow. Oh, what? Okay, acoustic guitar. I can understand a little.
A shopping bag broke, selling eggs and flour crashing down to the ground, just like star clusters smashing. But no one will give her a glance. They just shuffle on home in a trance. The tiniest lies fill their hives up with worry. To make it to church, well, she'll need to hurry. When late she will bow down contrite, while a meteor turns out the night. And there in a lottery street, a car isn't where it would normally be. The driver in tears about his payment arrears. Still nobody hears when the sun disappears in a galaxy apart.
Wow. This is like we are all lost in our own thing. We're in this trance, neglecting the suffering of others who are close to home. And in the example of the shopping bag, it's not immense suffering by any stretch, but something that is small can also be related to something that is cosmic and cataclysmic. Small things, small sufferings, they compound and add up. The fabric of a stronger society means that we help each other and show empathy wherever we can. There's a role of independence, but there's also a role of interdependence, right? And here it's like we are so stuck in our own ways. The suns that disappear in galaxies far away are unrecognized to us. And I feel like that's understandable. But then so much of what Stephen is singing about here is that the lives we live are rather ordinary, and we make them something that we kind of like overvalue what we have going on when it's not that serious. I could be wrong about that last interpretation, but let's keep going.
Disappears in a galaxy apart.
What a mix, too. atmosphere.
First day of the new job and he was so nervous. Suit and liberal attitude, can I be of service? His boss made him clean all the cars, while he wondered, is there life on Mars? And meanwhile the stars line themselves up in order, while we bicker on with our fences and borders. But best not to think about that. It's better to live without facts. And now will her...
The lyrics are so interesting. It is so interesting. It's like juxtaposing the banal, the ordinary with the extraordinary and the celestial, and the music kind of maps onto that, right? You get these moments of complete like, I feel like we're traveling through the cosmos and stars, right? There's so much happening with the instrumentation to build that atmosphere, as if we're like traveling through the stratosphere. But then we kind of land back on Earth with the simplicity of the acoustic guitar and the drums and a bit of the sing-songy delivery. So there are these two realities at once, the cosmos and the ordinary. Or something. This is hard, man. Hard but super enjoyable. I am down.
It's better to live without facts.
What a line.
And now in her own wedding bed, a lady will dream that her husband is dead.
Wow.
Of course he's alive, he'll be home around 5. Still silence arrives when a nebula dives into our Milky Way.
Oh. Again, the ordinary with the cosmos. God, that is heavy. Is this the nebula diving?
The first spots make Orion's belt as you queue at the bank for an hour, 'cause a solar flare blew out the power. The nurse in the care home now empties a bathtub. The water will spiral, a galaxy's vast hub is draining away as we speak, but she loses her job there next week.
It's like this constant comparison between these like galactic events, like literally stars exploding, things from the sun destroying the world, or the universe that we technically don't really know, and comparing it to the boring waiting in line at the bank. Is the intention to make us more like nihilistic, like we are truly that speck of dust floating in the cosmos, or at least putting that feeling in the forefront? Because it is true, we are a speck of dust in the cosmos, but we are all part of the universe one way or the other, whether we're a solar flare or a human named Sohum. So who's to say what matters more? You know what I mean? Those are my own thoughts, but let's keep going.
As we speak, but she loses her job there next week. There with his first telescope, a teenager stands full of trillion tears from now.
This absolutely reminds me a little bit of 2112 by Rush. I don't know if you guys ever listened to that. It's also in like chapter format and has to do with the cosmos and humanity. Not exactly the same as Steven is singing and talking about here, but it just reminded me of a little bit of the structure of this one. Which I did a reaction to 2112 on the channel. You can find that somewhere. God, some of these progressions are so eerie. Back to acoustic guitar, back on Earth, I assume? Or maybe a time simpler. Oh, I like that. It's like a weird augmented chord. Feels like a major 7. Feels like a different major 7. Oh my god, this is cool. Oh, I gotta watch this. God, the rhythm is doing rhythm stuff again. I don't know how to count this, man. I guess it would be like the easy way out to say that, like, I feel like I'm part of the large majority of humans that don't understand the mind of Steven Wilson. But I want to try. I really do want to try. There's so much creativity and ingenuity in all of these lyrics and the production, the rhythm, the melodies, the chords. Top to bottom, this is just chock full of prog goodies, and it's just excellent. I guess let's just keep going. I love the conversation about space and humanity and what it means to be human, and in the context of an even larger universe that we have yet to understand. What role do we play, and do we have understanding even if we look in the past, right? Do we know of our present and or the future? Is the end inevitable? What is the end? Are these concepts even real? Ay, ay, ay. And now we're in Cosmic Sons of Toil. Thank God this isn't 4/4. I can get it a little bit. Oh my God. How is it even possible that I've like never heard even a semblance of any of these riffs ever in any other in any other music? How do you come up with like 30, probably like 70 plus riffs over this last 17 minutes that I feel like I've just never heard played by anybody else? The only like comparable example I even have is maybe is Dream Theater, who I listen to a lot. This is so out there. This is crazy good. All these like diminished riffs and augmented chords and crazy time signatures and tempo changes and vibe changes. They're trying to destroy poor Sohum's brain. Come on, Stephen. That's not what the sun would do. The sun would just cause the heat death of our universe. Myself to space. It makes more sense now, hearing it the second time.
There was no ghost on the moor.
A lot of parallels here.
No open window. There in the mist, you ask me,
Did you forget I exist?
I said yes, 'cause you played too hard to get.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, what a melody here. Movement is so fluid. Wow. The diminished to major move is so cool in the minor scale. Oh my god. Instead of Flight of the Bumblebees, it's like Flight of the Astronauts right there. Just literally feel like I'm soaring through space. Swelling. Whoa. Oh my God. Well, that is Objects Outlive Us. Don't go anywhere. We still have the overview, but let's talk a little bit about what we just heard, which was insane. Before I do any commentary on the meaning of what, or at least my interpretation of this Objects Outlive Us song is, I'm going to look up the symbolism behind the monkey's paw, because I always forget. In W. Jacobs, the monkey's paw symbolizes the allure and danger of interfering with fate and the consequences of unchecked desire. It represents the false illusion that one can change destiny and the potential for dire consequences that come with attempting to do so. The paw's power to grant wishes, while seemingly desirable, ultimately lead to the tragedy for the whites, highlighting the theme of be careful what you wish for. Interesting. So the monkey's paw is a symbol of fate and our desire to do more, have access to more, have more control over fate and our future and our destiny. Yet the universe is going to do what it wants to do to us. There is no escaping the heat death of the universe, for example, or the growing of a nebula or a black hole or whatever the many billions and trillions of stars and galaxies and things that are out there that can destroy us puny humans. And all of that to say, as it relates to the meaning or the title even of the song, Objects Outlive Us, humans are very, in the organic matter sense, we have a very small slice of time. We don't exist for long. And, you know, you can even use the example of like a fruit fly. A fruit fly spawns in and has 24 hours to live, if that, and then they perish, and then the new generation is born. They have an even shorter lifespan. Humans, we like to think, because of the way we perceive time, that we're going to exist forever, and it does feel like forever because we are the ones that are perceiving the things that are happening. But there is a inevitable impermanence that's possible with our at least human forms. Our physical bodies are not immortal, and when you compare it to the universe, right? I love the line earlier about each of these souls just one in a billion, each of these stars just one in a trillion. It just puts into perspective again how small we are, how inconsequential truly we are. There is so little we can do to impose our will on the universe and fate. Why even bother trying? Because we're going to be destroyed anyways, and all of the celestial bodies and stars and the space in between space that exists, these are quote unquote inorganic matter and objects that will outlive us. And some like philosophical point that I'm going to make, which I don't have the vocabulary to describe in philosophical terms, but you'll get my rough idea. We have this notion, and I think it comes from evolution. It comes from our natural instinct of survival to deem and value ourselves as humans as more valuable than other organic matter, other life forms, as well as just general inorganic matter as we've defined it. Now, there's a lot of loaded philosophical meaning, I guess, that would be imbued when you say that something is organic or inorganic, because how are we organic or inorganic? It's just the parameters that we've set to define these constructs that we seek to understand, because there's so many different ways we could group worldly phenomena. I think the way we do it as humans, through science and understanding and logic, it is a good way to conceptualize our reality and these difficult to understand phenomena. But again, it is like Sisyphus, well, not again, but it feels like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the mountain. It is almost impossible for us to ever know all of the things that are out there to know. And attempting to, I think, is fair and fine, but we should really put into perspective the monumental, and I feel like monumental is even like a small word for what I'm trying to describe, but the monumental task of understanding the universe and then trying to impose our will over it. It's best to just sit back at times, right? What was the line earlier? Where was it? It's better to live without facts, because we can just live at that point. We don't have to intellectualize everything. The fact that we've even arrived at a point where we have consciousness almost feels self-defeating. It's like we reached a point where we realize we don't need what we have because it is all too complex anyways. Now, I would never be defeatist, and I'm not implying that Stephen in these lyrics is being defeatist in that regard, but definitely I think this would go into every nihilist's like Spotify playlist. But it is cool. I love space. The idea of how small we are is equally intriguing and terrifying. So I don't know. I think in terms of like a takeaway from a song like this, we need to realize that we are humans. We are fallible. We have the little control that we do, and it's best to just appreciate and experience and try to ameliorate one's own life as well as the lives of others, to live with detachment, without ego, and just be loving. Because, and you know, those aren't explicitly stated in the song, those are my own meanings I'm attaching here. But there's so much fruitless, nonsensical action that humans take against ourselves, against each other, in the form of warfare, in the form of borders, in the form of gatekeeping, and anything negative that you could ever imagine. These things don't have to exist at all, because we have the consciousness and wherewithal to make it otherwise, to change our reality. But it's also contradictory because we can't change our fate anyways. And then it makes me think of like free will and determinism, and I don't know, man. I'm just a man. I'm just a boy. I'm just Sohum, trying to figure this whole thing out. But that was Objects Outlive Us. We still have to check out the overview, which, you know, we're already 40 minutes deep. So yeah, maybe this is a good time to take a little break, grab your drinks, water, whatever. But if you are enjoying the reaction and would like to request one yourself, please hit the first link in the description box below and request a reaction yourself. That is the best way to support my channel. But let's start the overview before I lose my voice. This feels so like bubbly underneath.
Signs beyond 1 megameter, 10 to the power of 6, Ganymede, Callisto, Wolf 359,
This is like a description of one of the planets.
Size beyond 1 gigameter. 10 to the power of 9. Sirius. Altair. Vega.
Oh, so it looks like we're just describing the different celestial bodies that are to this size. 10 to the power 6, 10 to the power 9, 10 to the power 12.
Polaris.
Is it just going to keep going?
Size beyond 1 terameter. 10 to the power of 12. Antares. Pistol Star. Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. I think the Adler Planetarium would love Steven.
Size beyond 1 petameter. 10 to the power of 15. Stingray Nebula. Ring Nebula.
Incomprehensibly large.
Helix Nebula. The Spire. Hourglass Nebula.
Soaring above us, these sounds.
Size beyond 1 exameter. 10 to the power of 18. Omega Centauri. Messier 54. Tarantula Nebula.
Jesus. What instruments do you even use to create the effects in the background? I have no idea. Like synthesizers?
Size beyond 1 zetameter. 10 to the power of 21. Milky Way. Andromeda Galaxy. Fornax Cluster.
I haven't even heard of these suffixes or prefixes.
Size beyond 1 yokometer. 10 to the power of 24. Virgo Supercluster. Eridanus Supervoid. Supercluster Complex.
I don't even know. The size is just incomprehensible. And here I think your mom would be at 10 to the power 27, but it's unlisted. Gotcha. That's beautiful. This has been a crazy experience so far.
Snow's falling, but it can't be seen from here. Back on Earth, my loving wife's been dead for years.
Where is Steven now? I don't some like distant
I see
planet.
myself in relation to it all. What seemed important now like dust inside the squall.
Oh, like time dilation. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, Jesus. The overview. What is it? The overview of the universe. Can you do that?
The clouds have no history.
No, overview. Above.
And the sea feels no sorrow.
The above view.
The oxygen recycled. And the atoms are just borrowed.
See, I do agree, actually. This clouds have no history and the sea feels no sorrow. The oxygen recycled. The atoms are just borrowed. I agree that it may be impossible for humans to to reverse engineer all of the history behind the current formations of anything. But if you like follow, I think it is determinism. That would mean that every single chemical, physical, emotional, whatever kind of processes exist, biological, everything, if known completely, can be reverse engineered into its prior state, T minus, the dawn of the universe. So in a sense, everything has a history. It is just very hard to know it as a human. That would be my assumption or hypothesis here. So I would push back a bit on the clouds having no history. I think it's just practically the clouds have no knowable history for us humans. And everything is just being recycled. But just because it's being recycled doesn't mean you couldn't know the previous state, right? I don't know. I'll have to think more about that one. Things are constantly changing. That is true. In this large system. And maybe the rules of the system are changing, like string theory.
I'm already gone. Is that self? Is this real? Is this a dream?
It's their self.
There's no reason for any of this. It's just a beautiful infinity. No design and no one at the wheel. It's just an existential mystery. sun.
Wow.
But in a billion years its journey's just begun.
Again, the perspective of time and size and scale. You know, it's interesting. I didn't expect Stephen to take a very definitive stance on God, and for me, I kind of am somewhere between agnostic and atheist, but I like to consider myself more spiritual because I am part of this massive universe and system, and I just want to be good to the people who are around me. And I take a very humanistic? I don't know. I very much value humanity, and I do my best to also understand that outside of humanity is the humanity of the universe. We are all spiritual beings. Everything, the walls, the sun, your friend, the dirt, it is all part of this system that is so infinitely complex. It's better to appreciate everything that is that we can perceive. Is there self? Is this real? Is this a dream? In a sense, it doesn't matter the answer to the question. Because what does Descartes say? I think, therefore I am. If perception is there, then why not perceive? We don't have to question it necessarily, though we can. I don't know, man. I should have become a philosophy major to understand this one. Steven.
Size beyond 1 megameter. 10 to the power of 6. Ganymede. Callisto. Hall 359. Size beyond 1 gigameter. 10 to the power of 9. Sirius. Altair. Vega. Polaris. Size beyond 1 terameter. 10 to the power of 12. Antares. Pistol Star. Beetlejuice.
From the air, from the dust, from the sea, from the blood in a capsule for billions of years. Here's all we were, all destroyed, drifting on through the void as our permanence of matter disappeared. Taken from the air, from the dust, from the sea, from the blood in a capsule for the billions of years. Preserve all we were, all destroyed, drifting on through the void as our permanence of matter disappeared.
Does he ever perform this live? This is where we get the crowd participation, the clapping.
size beyond 1 centimeter, 10 to the power of 21. Milky Way, Andromeda Galaxy, Fornax Cluster, size beyond 1 yulpameter, 10 to the power of 24. Virgo Supercluster, Eridanus Supervoid, Supercluster Complex.
And 10 to the power 27, your mother. One mama meter. This is not an experience you get to have every day. Wow. So the soundscapes have just been otherworldly, to put it simply. I did not know I was going to experience an existential crisis today. I'll be okay. And at the same time, I will never recover. Definitely, this is a one-of-a-kind performance from Stephen. It is, again, to make the pun otherworldly. I can't even imagine the depths of the mind Stephen had to go to arrive at this. This is not music in the typical sense. It's definitely auditory art. It's highly expressive, philosophical, makes you think. challenges you. I love the perspective of being so small in this destructive, chaotic, unknowable universe. It's a message that you hear in like a lot of, space and science documentaries. So like I'm not completely foreign to the idea. If this would be like your first time hearing it, I could imagine just your mind literally being just shattered and blown away. We do know that we are small and infinitesimal in the scope of the universe. But in a sense, you can also flip the perspective too. You yourself are a universe, and within you are the same, if not more, levels of complexity. And I watched this video, interestingly enough, maybe like a month back, on the differences in the bigger and smaller infinities, because mathematically there's this concept of infinity that plays a role, but there are bigger and countable infinities, or larger infinities and smaller infinities. The whole point of infinity is that it goes and goes and goes, but it can go past what you can think it can go to, and in the reverse direction as well. And there's things called like antimatter that literally are intangible and almost like the negative numbers of organic matter and even inorganic matter. The universe is just so infinitely complex, and it would be foolish to pretend like we are the center of it and be egotistical in that regard. And I'm glad that that message is put across, but the message that I would also like to at least champion myself is appreciate the universe for what it is, for what you have in it, for being able to experience it in the way that we are. Because any experience is worthy of appreciation in the cosmic sense. And it is a crazy, crazy way to convey this message. I mean, we've been listening now for the better part of an hour, and I still feel like I have no idea what happened. We like traveled through the stars, looked at Earth in the rearview mirror, traveled around all of the larger and larger celestial bodies and the complexes and the stars and the galaxies. And I'm sure it can grow even more. We could go further. Permanence of impermanence. I would like to also touch back on the idea of let me quickly find the lyric so I have it, because I spent some time talking about it. While I do that, can you please like the video and subscribe maybe if you enjoyed my reaction? Where are you? Oh, the line here. The clouds have no history and the sea feels no sorrow. The oxygen recycled and the atoms are just borrowed. The painless and fragility of this cycle, oh. The clouds have a history, we just don't know it. But also, it feels like every statement that I make feels a bit loaded, because what is history? What is time? How do we perceive these things? These are all like language and the way we understand the world. These are all social constructs, right? They're all ways that we use, language, for example, to understand the worldly phenomena. It's just different groupings of information and knowledge, but at a cosmic level, the groupings can look very different. So we have a human lens at the end of it all. So we have to even caution our own understanding of the phenomena that we seek to know, that we seem and purport to know, rather. I think through continued research in science, we'll get closer to the things that we can view through the human lens, but the human lens is just that. It is a kaleidoscope of the entirety of the universe's lens and what is possible. So again, it is like that Sisyphean task of pushing for more knowledge and insight, but it's unknowable. And to bring back the monkey's paw, controlling our fate is going to be, I wouldn't say fruitless, but it's not possible to control entirely. If it were, it would already have been achieved, if that makes sense, right? If it were to have happened, it would have. Kind of that logic with time travel, like if time travel was solved and humans in the future did invent it, then there would be signs of time travelers now. And I'm not talking about the signs like the conspiracy theorists like to throw out there with like random grainy pictures of people with cell phones, but we should be in that moment of eternal synchronicity with our future selves, yet we aren't. But maybe we are, and the way we're perceiving things is a bit different, and we live in this string theory universe where all of these timelines are happening simultaneously, and again we have only a kaleidoscope of all of the universe's perception in the self. Therefore we can only understand what's happening in our current timeline. When I think about all these things, it feels like everything that I'm saying is simultaneously right and wrong, which feels almost like useless to continue speaking. It just makes me think of a whole lot of things, and at the end of it all, I need to take a nap, eat food, take a nap, and see if my mind figures out the questions and quandaries of the universe. Maybe you guys should too as well, but that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. Again, if you did and would like to request one yourself, you can do so by hitting the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace. Jesus Christ.